Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Meow. Today's lesson is How to Learn English from Scratch. The entire article will maintain a clear and slow reading style, which will help you get more accustomed to and understand the English environment in real life. Learning English from zero can seem very difficult at first. Many people feel nervous because they do not know any words or grammar. They worry about making mistakes or not understanding others. But every person can start from zero and improve step by step. The first thing to understand is that learning a language is a process. No one becomes fluent in one day. You need time, patience, and daily practice. The important thing is to take small steps and keep moving forward. At the beginning, it is helpful to start with very simple words. Words for everyday objects, actions, and feelings are useful. For example, words like apple, book, run, eat, happy, and sad are good to learn first. You can make small lists of 10 words every day. Then, try to remember them and use them in simple sentences. For example, I eat an apple, or I am happy today. Using words in sentences helps you understand how English works and makes the words easier to remember. Listening is very important when you start learning English. Even if you do not understand everything, listening helps your brain become familiar with the sounds of the language. You can listen to simple English songs, short stories, or podcasts made for beginners. Try to hear the same sentences many times. Your brain will begin to recognize words and patterns. Later, when you start speaking, these sounds will come more naturally and it will be easier to form sentences. Speaking is also necessary from the beginning. Some beginners wait too long before trying to speak because they are afraid of mistakes. But it is normal to make mistakes. Even children make mistakes when they learn their first language. The key is to speak a little every day. You can start by saying simple sentences about yourself. For example, I like water, or I go to school. If you speak daily, your confidence will grow and mistakes will slowly decrease. Reading can help you too. Start with very easy books or short stories with pictures. Reading gives you examples of words and sentences in context. You do not need to understand every word. Try to guess the meaning from the pictures or the sentence. Over time, your vocabulary will grow and reading will feel easier. Reading and listening together are very powerful. You see the words and hear the sounds at the same time, which helps your memory. Writing is another part of learning English. You can start by writing short sentences about your life. For example, I eat breakfast at 7, or I like my cat. Writing every day, even a little, helps you connect words and grammar. Later, when you speak, it is easier because your brain already knows how to make sentences. When you start learning English from zero, it is very important to use it in your daily life. Language is not only for school or books. You can use English to describe your surroundings and actions. For example, when you wake up, you can say, I wake up, I wash my face, or I eat breakfast. When you go outside, describe what you see. The sun is bright, the street is busy, or the birds are flying. By speaking these sentences, you practice using English in real situations. Over time, your brain will begin to think in English automatically. Another helpful step is to find a small English habit every day. You can listen to a short English song in the morning, read a short paragraph, or write one sentence in English. Small daily habits are better than long study sessions once in a while. Even 10 or 15 minutes every day can make a big difference after 1 month. The brain remembers better when you practice regularly. Patience is very important because learning a language is slow at the beginning, but each step counts. It is also helpful to repeat sentences you hear or read. Repetition makes words and patterns stronger in your memory. For example, if you hear I go to school, say it many times. Try to use it in different situations. I go to school at 8. I go to school by bus, or I go to school with my friend. Repeating and changing sentences helps you understand how English works. Your brain starts to recognize patterns, and speaking becomes easier. Listening to other people is very useful, too. Even if you do not understand every word, try to hear the sounds carefully. When you hear the same sentences many times, you begin to remember them. For example, listen to short stories or English dialogues for beginners. Pause and repeat what the speaker says. You can copy the words and sentences. This exercise makes your brain familiar with English sounds and helps your mouth produce the words correctly. Vocabulary is the foundation of English. You should learn words in groups, like words for food, colors, numbers, or family members. For example, learn father, mother, brother, sister together. Then make simple sentences. My father is tall, or I have one brother. Using words in sentences is more effective than only memorizing them. Writing and speaking these words helps you remember them faster. Another tip is to make mistakes and learn from them. Do not worry if you say something wrong. Mistakes are part of learning. Every mistake is a chance to improve. For example, if you say, I goed to school, someone may correct you, I went to school. Next time, you will say it correctly. Mistakes help you understand English better, and they are necessary for improvement. It is very important to practice speaking English every day. Some beginners wait too long before speaking because they are afraid of making mistakes. But speaking from the start is very helpful. You can start by talking to yourself. Describe your day, your actions, or your feelings. For example, I eat breakfast, I go to school, or I feel happy today. Talking aloud helps your brain connect words and sentences with real actions. It also makes your mouth familiar with English sounds. At first, it may feel strange, but over time, it becomes natural. You can also practice with simple conversations. Even if you do not have friends who speak English, you can imagine a dialogue. For example, you can ask and answer questions. What is your name? My name is Anna. How old are you? I am 12 years old. Practicing these short conversations helps you remember words and learn how sentences are formed. Later, when you speak to real people, you will feel more confident. Reading and listening together are very effective. For example, you can read a short story while listening to it at the same time. This way, you see the words and hear the sounds together. It helps you understand the rhythm and flow of English. You can also repeat sentences from the story. Repeat slowly and then faster. This practice helps you speak more fluently and remember new words more easily. Over time, it will feel easier to understand and speak English. Writing is another useful method for beginners. You can keep a simple diary in English. Write about your day, your activities, or your feelings. For example, I eat rice for lunch, I play football in the park, or I am happy today. Writing helps you practice grammar and vocabulary. Later, the sentences you write will come naturally when you speak. Writing also gives you time to think, so you can try new words and ideas without feeling pressure. Learning English from zero is easier if you connect it with your life. Use English to describe your hobbies and interests. For example, if you like cooking, find simple English recipes and follow them. If you like music, listen to English songs and try to understand the words. If you like sports, watch simple English sports videos. Using English in your hobbies makes learning fun and natural. Your brain will begin to link English with everyday life, not only with studying. Another important point is consistency. A little practice every day is better than a long study session once a week. Even 10 or 15 minutes each day can make a big difference. When you practice every day, words, sentences, and ideas stay in your memory. Your brain starts to think in English, and slowly, English becomes easier and more natural. Listening is one of the most important skills when you start learning English from zero. Even if you do not understand every word, your brain begins to recognize sounds and patterns. You can listen to simple English stories, songs, or dialogues every day. At first, you may only understand a few words, but that is normal. Listening often will help you understand more over time. The more you hear, the more natural English will feel. You can also repeat what you hear. For example, if you hear, "I go to school," try to say it out loud immediately. Repeat it several times. Then try to change the sentence, "I go to the market," or "I go to the park." Repeating and changing sentences helps you practice new words and grammar. It also trains your mouth to speak English naturally. Over time, speaking will feel easier and faster. Vocabulary is very important for beginners. You can learn words by topics like food, animals, family, or school. For example, learn bread, rice, water for food, or dog, cat, bird for animals. Then make simple sentences. "I eat bread," "I like my dog," or "the bird is small." Using words in sentences helps you remember them better than only memorizing them. The goal is to connect words with real life, so your brain can use them automatically when speaking. Another method is to practice simple questions and answers. Questions help you start conversations and speak with confidence. For example, "What is your name?" "My name is Tom." "Where do you live?" "I live in my city." Practicing these simple dialogues will give you the habit of speaking English in everyday situations. You can even make new questions about your life, like, "What do you eat for breakfast?" or "What is your favorite color?" Then answer in English. This way, speaking becomes a natural part of your day. Reading simple texts is also very useful. Start with short stories, children's books, or simple articles. Look at the pictures to understand the meaning of words. Try to read aloud. Reading aloud helps you practice pronunciation and speaking. When you read, try to understand sentences without translating them into your first language. This trains your brain to think directly in English. Slowly, you will feel more comfortable reading and understanding English. Daily habits are very important for beginners. Try to use English in small ways every day. Speak to yourself. Listen to a short story, write one sentence, or read a paragraph. Even small actions add up. The key is consistency. Regular practice helps your brain remember words and patterns, and English begins to feel familiar and natural. Speaking English every day is very important when you start from zero. Even if you only know a few words, try to make sentences. For example, I eat breakfast, I like my school, or I have a book. It is normal to make mistakes, and mistakes help you learn. Every time you speak, you practice connecting words into sentences. Over time, your brain learns how to make longer and more correct sentences automatically. Confidence grows when you speak regularly, even if it is only simple sentences. You can also practice by describing your day. For example, I wake up at 7, I eat bread and drink water, I go to school by bus. Describing your actions in English helps you use words you already know. Later, you can add more details. I eat bread with butter, or I go to school with my friend. Step by step, your sentences become longer and your English becomes more natural. Talking about your daily life is easy and gives your brain real examples to practice. Listening and speaking together are very effective. Listen to short sentences or dialogues, then try to repeat them aloud. For example, if you hear, I like apples, repeat it several times. Then try, I like bananas, or I like oranges. This helps you practice vocabulary and sentence patterns. Repeating what you hear trains your brain and your mouth. Over time, it will be easier to understand and speak English without thinking too much. Reading helps you see words and sentences in context. You can read simple stories, books, or online articles for beginners. Look at pictures to help understand the meaning. Read aloud whenever you can. Reading aloud trains your mouth to speak and your brain to recognize patterns. Later, when you speak, the words and sentence structures you read will come naturally. Reading also gives you new words to use in daily life. Writing is another helpful habit. You can keep a diary or write short sentences about your day. For example, I play football in the park, or I am happy today. Writing helps you remember vocabulary and grammar. Even 1 or 2 sentences a day are helpful. Writing gives your brain time to think about English, and later it supports speaking. When you write regularly, your sentences become stronger and more natural. It is very helpful to connect English with your hobbies. If you like music, listen to English songs. If you like sports, watch English sports videos. If you like cooking, follow simple English recipes. Using English in activities you enjoy makes learning fun. Your brain connects English with real life, and the language becomes familiar and natural. Learning English from zero is not only studying words, it is living with the language every day. Patience is very important when you learn English from zero. You cannot learn everything in one day. It takes time for your brain to remember words, sentences, and grammar. Some days you may feel progress is slow, but every small step counts. Every new word you learn, every sentence you speak, and every story you read adds to your English skill. If you practice every day, slowly, English will feel more natural. It is also helpful to set small goals. For example, you can say, "Today I will learn 10 new words," or "I will speak 5 sentences aloud." Small goals make learning easier and more motivating. When you reach your goals, you feel proud, and this encourages you to continue. You do not need to do everything at once. Step by step, your English will improve. Using English in daily life is very effective. Describe what you do, what you see, and what you feel. For example, I drink water, the sky is blue, I feel happy. Try to speak these sentences aloud. When you practice English in real situations, your brain learns to use it automatically. Later, English will feel like a natural part of your day, not something separate that you study only in books. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing must work together. Listening helps you understand sounds and rhythm. Speaking trains your mouth and builds confidence. Reading shows you how sentences are made. Writing helps your brain connect words and grammar. When you do all four every day, even a little at a time, your English grows quickly. The key is daily practice, not long sessions, once in a while. It is normal to make mistakes. Beginners always make mistakes, but mistakes are necessary for learning. When you speak, someone may correct you, or you may notice a better way to say something. This helps you improve. Do not feel discouraged by mistakes. Every mistake is a step forward. Even people who are fluent in English made many mistakes when they started. Finally, enjoy learning English. Use it in songs, movies, stories, and daily life. Talk to yourself. Describe your day. Write simple sentences and read easy stories. Small habits every day are more powerful than long study sessions. Over time, English will no longer feel foreign. It will feel familiar. Your brain will begin to think in English, and your mouth will speak naturally. Slowly, day by day, learning from zero becomes learning as a part of life. One day, you will see that you can understand, speak, read, and write English easily, simply because you practiced regularly and never gave up. Thank you all for listening to today's English article. Please do keep going. No matter what, never stop learning. One day, you will see a completely different version of yourself.